The message begins now. Tonight, heaven is revealing something that has been hidden from your eyes for far too long. There is a soul connected to your destiny who cannot stop thinking about you. This person tries to act normal. They try to continue with their daily routines. They smile around other people. They answer messages. They go to work. They pretend they are emotionally fine. But deep inside, something about you has completely shaken them. Angel says they did not expect to feel this way. They did not plan for their heart to become attached to your spirit. And what makes this even more powerful is that it did not begin because of your beauty. It did not begin because of your money. It did not begin because you tried to impress them. No, it started because of one thing you did that touched a broken place inside them. And later in this message, Angel says you will discover exactly what that one thing was. Stay until the end because heaven is exposing what this person has been hiding from you. There is also a warning coming later in this message about a mistake that could delay this connection if you are not spiritually alert. So listen carefully. And if this message is already touching your spirit, subscribe to the channel right now. Because every message here is sent to help prepare you for the love, purpose, and restoration heaven has planned for your life. Angel says there are some people who enter your life for a season. But there are rare souls who enter your life and immediately recognize something eternal inside you. This person felt peace around you before they even understood why. They noticed that your energy was different. Your words carried warmth. Your presence felt safe. And in a world full of manipulation, pretending, and emotional games, your spirit felt genuine. That is what captured them. Not perfection. Not performance. Not seduction. Authenticity. Angel says your kindness reached a part of them nobody else could touch. You may not even remember the exact moment. But they do. They replay it in their mind constantly. For some of you, it was a simple conversation. For others, it was the moment you listened to them without judging them. For others, it was the moment you showed compassion when everyone else ignored them. And for many watching this, it was the moment you treated them with dignity when they secretly felt unworthy of love. You healed something inside them without even realizing it. And now their heart cannot let go of you. Angel says this connection became spiritual long before it became emotional. That is why they feel drawn to you even when they try to resist it. That is why your name suddenly appears in their thoughts. That is why they compare everyone else to you. Because your spirit awakened something dormant inside them. And they are terrified by how deep these feelings have become. There are nights when this person stares at their phone wanting to contact you. There are moments when they almost confess everything. But fear stops them. Fear of rejection. Fear of timing. Fear that you may not feel the same way. Angel says this person has experienced disappointment before. They trusted the wrong people. They opened their heart before and got wounded. So now they hide their emotions behind silence. But silence does not erase love. In fact, Angel says their silence has made their feelings grow even stronger. Every moment apart has intensified the connection. Every day without hearing, your voice feels incomplete to them. And this is why you have been sensing their energy lately. That random feeling in your chest. Those dreams that feel too real. Those moments where their face suddenly appears in your mind without explanation. That is not coincidence. Angel says souls connected by divine timing often communicate spiritually before physical union takes place. There is something sacred happening behind the scenes. And you need to prepare your heart. Because this story is far from over. But before heaven reveals what happens next, subscribe right now and type, "I am ready for divine love" in the comments. Your words carry power. And this declaration opens your spirit to receive what God is aligning. Angel says many people misunderstood you in the past. They judged you without knowing your heart. They walked away too quickly. They failed to appreciate your loyalty. They overlooked the depths of your love. But the person connected to this message sees what others missed. They notice the small things. The way you care deeply. The way you protect people emotionally. The way you try to uplift others even when you are hurting yourself. Angel says this person admires your strength more than you realize. Because while others only saw your smile, this person sensed the battles you survived. And instead of being intimidated by your scars, they felt drawn closer to you. That is rare. Very rare. There is a reason heaven allowed your paths to cross. This was not random attraction. This was alignment. And even when distance, silence, or confusion entered the situation, the spiritual bond remained alive. Angel says this person has been trying to understand why your connection feels different from anything they experienced before. Nothing compares to it. Nobody else feels like home the way you do. Nobody else affects their emotions this deeply. And they cannot explain it logically. Because love created by God cannot always be explained by human reasoning. Sometimes the soul recognizes destiny before the mind catches up. That is exactly what happened here. Now listen carefully because this next part is important. Angel says the enemy often attacks divine connections with fear, doubt, pride, and delay. Why? Because real love changes people. Real love heals people. Real love pushes people closer to their purpose. And the moment heaven begins preparing two souls for alignment, spiritual resistance appears. This is why misunderstandings happened between you. This is why communication became inconsistent. This is why confusion entered your thoughts. The connection frightened both of you because it felt too real. But Angel says what God has written cannot be erased by temporary fear. And someone watching right now needs to hear this clearly. You are not forgotten. You are not unwanted. You are not too late for love. The right soul will recognize your value without needing to be convinced. And this person already sees your worth more than you realize. There are hidden emotions inside them that they have never fully expressed. They miss you. They pray about you. They wonder if you still think about them. And for some of you, they even check your social media quietly without interacting because they are afraid of revealing their true feelings. Yes, Angel says they watch from a distance sometimes. Not because they do not care, but because they care too much. They are trying to protect their heart while secretly hoping you will give them a sign. And here is the shocking truth. The one thing you did that made them fall deeply in love with you was this. You made them feel seen. Not admired. Not chased. Sane. You looked beyond their mask. You treated them like a human soul instead of an object. You noticed pain they tried to hide. You spoke life into them during a season when they secretly felt emotionally empty. That changed everything. Because many people desired their attention. But very few truly understood their heart. Angel says your compassion became unforgettable to them. Your sincerity became addictive to them. And now your absence feels heavy in their spirit. There are tears this person has cried privately over you. There are conversations they rehearse in their head. There are moments they imagine finally holding your hand and confessing everything. But timing matters. And heaven says some things are still being prepared. This connection is teaching both of you important spiritual lessons. Patience, healing, trust, emotional maturity, discernment, because lasting love cannot be built on emotional chaos. It must be built on spiritual stability. That is why God has been working on both hearts separately before bringing alignment fully into place. And someone watching this has almost given up recently. You told yourself maybe it was all in your imagination. Maybe the connection was one-sided. Maybe you should stop caring. But Angel says your spirit recognized something real. Do not ignore your discernment. There truly is someone carrying deep emotions for you right now. Someone who feels magnetically pulled toward your energy. Someone who becomes nervous around you because your presence affects them deeply. And soon, clarity will begin replacing confusion. The truth cannot stay hidden forever. What is buried in silence eventually rises into the light. That conversation you have been waiting for may happen sooner than you think. That emotional confession may arrive unexpectedly. Because Angel says this person is reaching a breaking point. Their feelings are becoming impossible to suppress. And later in this message, Heaven will reveal the sign that proves this connection is entering a new season. Do not leave before hearing it. Because many people miss their blessing simply because they stop listening too early. Subscribe now if you feel this message in your soul. There are no accidents here. You were guided to this message for a reason. Angel says one of the greatest mistakes people make is assuming love only exists when it is loudly expressed. But some of the deepest love exists quietly. In hidden prayers. In nervous glances. In unsent messages. In late-night thoughts. In silence filled with emotion. This person carries all of that for you. They may appear distant outwardly, but inwardly their emotions are intense. Sometimes they replay your conversations over and over. Sometimes they wonder whether you know how special you are. Sometimes they fear another person will take your heart before they gather the courage to speak. Angel says jealousy has even touched them recently. Because the thought of losing you emotionally unsettles them deeply. This is not shallow attraction. This is emotional attachment mixed with spiritual recognition. And Heaven says that combination is powerful. But you must guard your heart from insecurity during this season. Do not sabotage your own blessing by assuming rejection before the truth is revealed. Too many people walk away from divine connections because fear convinces them they are unworthy of love. But Angel says you are worthy. You are deeply worthy. The love being prepared for you is not punishment. It is restoration. After everything you endured emotionally, God is showing you that gentle love still exists. Safe love still exists. Intentional love still exists. And the person connected to you is slowly awakening to the reality that they do not want a future without you in it. That realization is changing them. They are becoming more emotionally honest, more reflective, more spiritually aware. Your presence triggered transformation inside them. And that is another reason they cannot let you go. Angel says real connections do not only create romance. They create growth. This person started confronting parts of themselves after meeting you. They started questioning old habits, old wounds, old fears, because your spirit exposed what needed healing. That is why the connection became emotionally overwhelming for them at times. Love reveals truth, and truth forces transformation. Now hear this carefully. Angel says there are outside influences trying to interfere with this connection. Negative voices, fearful opinions, past heartbreaks, pride, emotional confusion. But none of those things are stronger than divine alignment. If two hearts are meant to unite under God's timing, no outside force can permanently destroy it. Temporary delays are not permanent endings. Remember that. Some of you are about to receive communication that surprises you. Others are about to notice this person becoming more intentional. And some of you will soon realize the distance between you was never emotional rejection. It was preparation. Preparation for something deeper. Preparation for maturity. Preparation for lasting commitment. Angel says Heaven sometimes separates people temporarily so healing can happen individually before union happens collectively. That is what many of you are experiencing now. But change is approaching. The emotional wall around this person is cracking. Their heart is becoming louder than their fear. And once that happens, honesty follows. There is something beautiful about being loved by someone who first fell in love with your soul. Not your appearance, not your status, not what you could give them materially, but your spirit. That kind of love survives storms. That kind of love carries depths. That kind of love feels heaven-sent. And Angel says this is why your story is not over yet. In part 2, Heaven will reveal the exact sign that shows this person is about to come forward emotionally. You will also discover the hidden struggle this person has been battling privately ever since meeting you. And there is a powerful message about divine timing that could completely change the way you view this connection. So stay close. Subscribe now to Angel Message from Heaven, because the next message may reveal the confirmation your soul has been praying for. Angel says the moment you stop chasing what is forced, Heaven begins revealing what is truly meant for you. And right now, there is someone whose heart keeps returning to you no matter how hard they try to move on emotionally. They tried distracting themselves. They tried staying busy. They tried convincing themselves the connection was temporary. But every road inside their spirit keeps leading back to you. That is not ordinary attraction. That is soul recognition. And tonight, Heaven is exposing what has been happening behind the silence. Because the truth is this person has been fighting emotions they never expected to feel. They thought they were emotionally guarded. They thought they had control over their heart. But then you appeared. And suddenly, their emotional walls started collapsing in ways they could not explain. Angel says your energy disrupted their loneliness. Not because you tried to rescue them, but because your spirit carried sincerity. And sincerity is rare in this generation. People are exhausted from fake love, fake promises, fake loyalty, fake affection. But when this person encountered your heart, something inside them finally relaxed. For the first time in a long time, they felt emotionally safe. That feeling changed everything. And here is the sign Heaven promised to reveal. Angel says when someone is spiritually connected to you, they begin showing up in your life repeatedly, even when circumstances pull you apart. You hear songs that remind you of them. You dream about them unexpectedly. You feel their energy strongly at random moments. Their name appears in strange ways. You suddenly think about them and then receive a message from them later. These moments are not meaningless. Angel says spiritual connections often create invisible emotional echoes between two souls, especially when feelings are mutual but not fully spoken yet. And someone watching this has been experiencing exactly that. You tried ignoring it. You tried rationalizing it. But deep inside, your spirit knows there is something unusual about this bond. Because every time you try to emotionally disconnect, something keeps pulling your heart back toward them. Angel says this connection survived distance because it was never built only on physical presence. It was built on emotional truth. And emotional truth cannot be erased easily. Now listen carefully, because this next part may explain everything you have been sensing lately. This person has been secretly battling fear of vulnerability. They want love. They crave connection. But they also fear emotional exposure. Somewhere in their past, they learned to protect their heart by hiding their emotions. Maybe they were betrayed. Maybe they loved someone who did not value them. Maybe they were abandoned emotionally when they needed support the most. So now every deep connection scares them. Including this one. Especially this one. Because you touched their soul too quickly. And when love feels spiritually intense, it forces people to confront emotions they buried long ago. Angel says this person has cried over you privately. Not because you hurt them intentionally, but because the depth of their feelings overwhelmed them. There were nights they missed you silently. Moments they wanted to call you. Moments they typed messages and erased them. Moments they stared at your photos wondering if you still cared. And while they remained quiet outwardly, inwardly their emotions became louder and louder. That is why your spirit has been restless lately. You are feeling the emotional pressure building between both hearts. And heaven says something is about to shift. But before that shift happens, you must stop doubting your worth. Yes, you. Angel says too many beautiful souls sabotage divine love because they secretly believe they are hard to love. They expect abandonment before love even fully arrives. They push people away emotionally before getting hurt. But heaven says this season requires trust. Not desperate attachment. Not emotional obsession. Trust. If God placed this connection in your path, there is purpose behind it. Even the delays have purpose. Even the confusion taught lessons. Even the silence revealed hidden wounds that needed healing. Nothing was wasted. Angel says one reason this person fell so deeply for you is because you never tried to become someone fake to impress them. You remained emotionally real. And realness carries spiritual power. You listened when others ignored them. You showed empathy when others mocked their pain. You gave kindness without demanding control. That touched them more deeply than you realize. People never forget those who loved them gently during difficult seasons. Never. Your compassion became unforgettable. And the more life continues pulling them through emotional battles, the more they remember how peaceful your presence felt. That memory keeps haunting them. In a beautiful way. Because peace is addictive to wounded hearts. Angel says this person compares others to you constantly. But nobody feels the same. Nobody carries your energy. Nobody understands them the way you did. And slowly, they are realizing that what they feel for you is not temporary emotion. It is something much deeper. There is a divine pull happening here. And heaven says many of you are closer to emotional breakthrough than you think. Somebody is preparing to become more honest. Somebody is getting tired of pretending they do not care. Somebody is realizing that silence is no longer protecting them. It is only keeping them disconnected from the person they truly want. And that realization changes everything. Now hear this carefully. Angel says there are 3 things this person secretly fears losing. Your attention, your trust, and the possibility of a future with you. Those fears have been growing stronger recently. Especially because they sense your energy shifting. They feel that you are becoming emotionally stronger. More independent. More healed. And while part of them admires your growth, another part fears you may stop waiting emotionally. That thought unsettles them deeply. Because despite their silence, they imagined you remaining in their life. And now they realize they could lose you if they stay emotionally distant forever. That pressure is pushing them toward action. Heaven says movement is happening behind the scenes. Do not judge the story too early. Some prayers are answered slowly because God is protecting the future from immature timing. Imagine receiving deep love before both hearts are healed enough to sustain it. It would collapse under emotional pressure. That is why divine timing matters. Angel says your connection required growth first. And now both of you are entering a different emotional season. A season where honesty becomes necessary. A season where hidden feelings begin surfacing. A season where clarity replaces confusion. And some of you will receive signs very soon. Unexpected communication. A confession. A reunion. An emotional conversation that changes everything. Stay spiritually alert. Because heaven often answers prayers quietly before the full manifestation appears. Now there is another message angel needs you to hear tonight. Do not allow loneliness to convince you to settle for shallow love while waiting for divine alignment. Many people entertain temporary relationships simply because they fear being alone. But temporary comfort often creates permanent heartbreak. Angel says your heart deserves intentional love. The kind that chooses you fully. The kind that respects your soul. The kind that brings peace instead of emotional chaos. And the person connected to this message is slowly realizing they want to become that kind of love for you. That realization is transforming them internally. They are thinking more seriously now. More deeply. More intentionally. You are no longer just a passing thought to them. You have become emotionally significant. Someone they imagine building memories with. Someone they picture beside them during important moments. Someone whose absence now feels personal. Angel says this person has replayed your smile in their mind many times. Not only because of physical attraction, but because your smile carried light during a dark season in their life. You reminded them that goodness still exists. And when someone meets light after walking through emotional darkness, they never forget it. Never. This is why your connection continues, surviving obstacles. Because the emotional imprint remained. And now heaven is preparing both hearts for truth. But there is something you must release first. Fear. Release the fear that love always ends painfully. Release the fear that vulnerability makes you weak. Release the fear that being deeply loved is somehow dangerous. Angel says your future cannot bloom fully while your heart remains chained to old disappointments. Healing is required for divine union. And yes, someone truly is falling deeper in love with you right now. Even if they have not fully confessed it yet. Even if circumstances still look confusing. Even if silence still exists temporarily. The feelings are real. The connection is real. And heaven says your spirit already knows this. That is why this message found you. There is also a warning tonight. Do not let pride destroy what vulnerability could heal. Sometimes both people care deeply, but neither person wants to risk emotional exposure first. That creates unnecessary distance. Angel says maturity requires emotional honesty. Not games. Not manipulation. Not pretending not to care. Real love requires courage. And somebody involved in this connection is finally learning that lesson now. Very soon, emotional masks will begin falling away. Conversations will become more authentic. Truth will become unavoidable. Because suppressed feelings eventually demand expression. And this person's emotions have become too strong to hide forever. There is one final thing heaven wants you to understand. The reason this connection feels different is because it was designed to awaken something inside both of you. Not only romance, purpose, healing, growth, transformation. Sometimes God sends a person into your life who mirrors the parts of yourself you forgot to value. That is what happened here. This person reminded you that your softness is not weakness. Your kindness is not foolishness. Your love is not too much. And you reminded them that vulnerability is not failure. That emotional depth is not something to fear. That safe love still exists. Angel says this connection has already changed both lives permanently, even before the full story unfolds. So stop asking whether you mattered to them. You did. Deeply. More deeply than they were prepared for. And now heaven is guiding everything toward divine clarity. Trust the process. Trust the timing. Trust what your spirit has been sensing quietly. Because what is meant for you will not need endless confusion to reach you. And if this message touched your soul tonight, subscribe now to Angel Message from Heaven. There are more revelations coming. Mori divine confirmations. Mori messages prepared specifically for the season your heart is entering. Type "I received divine love" in the comments, because your season of emotional restoration is beginning. And heaven is not finished writing your story.